Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We're here at the AC Electric Arena. We've got the Chipman Chargers, and they'll be facing off with the masterminds at the Kato Cavaliers in downtown Bakersfield. It's the first ever Robot Rumble. We're here at the AC Electric Arena in downtown Bakersfield. It's the first ever Robot Rumble. Good afternoon, everybody. Devin Rossiter here with Tom Henderson. It's the first time in Bakersfield where we partnered with Vex Robotics to put together a season-long robotics competition using the Tower Takeover format. Tom, thanks for having us here at AC Electric. We're really excited for this competition.
Yeah, we're great. It's a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
So to kick things off, we've got the Chipman Chargers with their Clawbot A. And they'll be facing off with the masterminds at the Kato Cavaliers and Richard the Giraffe.
All right.
Very quickly, let's introduce our viewers to the format of Tower Takeover and the general rules here.
General rules. We have 3 different colors of cubes, orange, purple, and green. There's teams will score, select whichever color they want to use, or multiples. Each cube is worth a point, and they score them in their scoring zones. For the blue, it's in the 2 corners, and the red has in their corners. Then what happens, you'll see the towers in the middle. So the towers act as a multiplier. So whichever color they put in the tower actually adds points to the cube. So if they put a green in the cube or in the tower, all the green cubes are now worth 2 points. They put an orange in the tower, a green and an orange, both of them are 2 points.
There's a lot of strategy built in. It's not simply just moving cubes. It's how do you make those cubes worth as much as possible. Now, it's still early on in the season for robotics, so there is a lot of design and process being built in. You know, a lot of our teams, it sounds like we're getting ready to launch things off as the horn sounds. Let's go ahead and get everybody in a position for our first round here. We're going to have 3 rounds and take the total score and figure out who our winner is to join us in the grand final back here at the AC Electric Arena in March. So let's check with our teams and see if we're fired up, ready to go.
Okay, Red Alliance, are you ready? Yeah. Blue Alliance, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, driver control in 3, 2, 1, go.
And we are off. Each round will be 105 seconds with drivers switching about midway through. Looking at both teams, their strategy early on, Tom, has been really just to kind of push and direct cubes in.
Correct. Yeah. Early in the season, we're probably going to see more of the getting just cubes as much as they can into the corners.
Both design teams went with a Clawbot design as Clawbot A gets its cube into the zone. Now, that's a little bit on the edge there.
Yeah, now it's scoring. So it wasn't scoring before.
It's got to be completely in to count for the points. Correct. As we see Richard the Giraffe with its first attempt, bringing a purple in there.
They're in, yes.
So both teams tied at 1 apiece. Chipman with Clawbot looking to stack up there. There really is limited space, so we see the elevated arm in there as the first switch is taking place. They've got 15 seconds to switch drivers. So Chipman has its initial driver still in there, pulled it away. They've got to make that switch within 5 seconds here. They're already on their second driver with Kato, so they've already mixed over. We're still tied at 1 with 40 seconds remaining here in our first round. Kato loses its grip on its green cube. Chipman still looking to stack its second. A little bit of instability early on as it tries to gently lower it down. We've got about 20 seconds remaining here for each of these teams in our first round.
And just the depth perception is very difficult for some of these robots with the long arms.
Looks like we may have Our first stack, it's dropped and rolls out of the scoring zone for Chipman. Still tied at 1 with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that will do it. So, Tom, very early on, feeling out session for both of these teams as they wrap up tied at 1 apiece.
Tied at 1 apiece. So, so nothing but improvement to go.
Let's check in very quickly with our team over at Kato and our drivers. Let's check in with Amy and Francis. Early on, we had a switch. Tell us a little bit about what you noticed as far as some of the challenges early on.
Well, we did notice that one of our rubber bands fell off, so that was kind of going to be a problem. It's a good thing we had backup. And also, we also tried to go for the cubes, but it was really difficult to try to maneuver our clawbot in and get a grip on them.
So that claw providing some challenges early on with balance, so you can adapt to that going into our second round. You know what you can work on. Checking over with Chipman, who got their cube built in very early on and spent a lot of the rest of the round trying to build on top of that. So, Chipman, let's talk with our drivers. Anthony, Emiliano, very early on, able to get that cube in early, and then the challenge of trying to stack it. Tell us what you noticed.
I'm just not used to the well, it's easy to get the blocks into the claw and all, but it's actually
awkward positions where if it was in the corner, we could just put them side by side.
Yeah. And not only that, but the challenge of getting used to the controls.
So from a driver situation, the controls are one issue, but you're looking at the positioning of the cube to get it more flush into the corner and leverage the walls to build those stacks a little bit more easily. So really interestingly, the towers didn't come into play early on here, but both teams are on the board at 1 apiece.
And we have our score up, so.
Looking at it very early on, there's still plenty to go. As we mentioned, we're going to be doing a total of 3 rounds. The team with the highest total at the end of 3 rounds is going to move on to our grand final in March. So we'll check back in with our teams later on and see what adjustments are made going into round 2. Welcome back to the Robot Rumble here on Do the Math. Devin Rossiter and Tom Henderson getting set for round 2. After our first set of contests here between the Chipman Chargers and their Clawbot A and Kato with Richard the Giraffe, we're tied up at 1 cube apiece. So the scoreboard is even. Both teams had a chance to feel out some strategy and figure out what to improve upon going into this critical round 2 before our final. So, Tom, what are we looking out for here in round 2?
Well, I think the teams were they were planning just to start moving cubes. They were actually trying to stack and do some nice fancy work. They decided that they were just going to go and start moving cubes and get them in the corners.
Let's see what our teams have in store for us as we get set for the second round.
All right.
Okay. Red, are you ready?
Yeah.
Blue, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, driver control in 3, 2, 1, go.
Round 2 underway. Both teams going for that closest cube as they did in round 1. Kato, the first to have their claws on 1 to drop it in, and it is secure. 1 point in for Richard the Giraffe. Now looking over at Chipman, they get their first one in. That one is dropped in flush as well. So we're back where we started. 1 apiece here in round 2, so a 2-2 total. There we go with Kato dropping their second one in, so they are the first to get multiple cubes in to a single goal here this afternoon as Chipman and Clawbot A seeks to stack for the first time. They drop it down, it falls off of the flush flat surface on top. It has to be completely in the goal zone to count. Now Kato with a purple looking to stack it in. Do they have it? No, it draws right off as we have our driver change, so the controls need to be handed off within the next 3, 2, 1. We see Kato now trying to push its way up top. They've got that purple one, but can't get it to stack. 36 seconds left to go in round 2. Kato holding the 1 point advantage. The Kato Cavaliers. And now up here, we look at Chipman in. They get their second one in. Kato looking to really Richard the Giraffe to stack purple on top of a green in the corner with 15 seconds left to go. We are tied up here. They're very close. Can they get the release? It is there. And we have step 5 seconds left to go. Chipman answer back in 3, 2, 1, and that will do it. So we have an advantage going into our final round. Kato able to get a stack up with 1 up over Chipman. Let's check in with Chipman as they get set for our final round here. Let's check in with our Chargers. Emiliano and Anthony, you got your second one in. So looking at your opponents who are able to stack theirs up, what are your challenges now going into round 3?
You know, actually stacking them in. Because like I said, the biggest difficulty at the moment is still the angles. You know, when we think we have it in, we actually don't.
So kind of focusing on the geometry of the placement and maybe the physics as well. Now, one of the differences between your bot and Kato's is the claw itself seems to have a bit more rubber grip. There's a lot more rubber bands placed on the actual claspers. Have you found that that has provided you with an additional advantage as far as being able to grab some of the cubes here?
Yeah, because it actually has extra grip.
The extra grip is definitely needed for this type of thing.
You're down 1 going into our final round. Let's see if you're able to pull through. Checking back in with the Kato Cavaliers. Richard the Giraffe, curiously named here, really on the spot. Neither of these teams really came in with a name for their bots because they didn't want to get too attached to it. Still early in the season. But one of the advantages to Richard the Giraffe compared to Chipman is a longer neck on that arm. So we have some adjustments being made. Tell us a little bit about some of the changes we're making here.
We're replacing the new battery. Yeah, we're just replacing the battery.
So you've got a new power source coming in to provide you with enough energy to get you through, because the last thing you want is to power down in this crucial final round.
Yes.
You were able to get a stack in, the first of the competition. Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
We mainly just kind of had to rush and get it in there, and it just happened, I guess.
You know, it's interesting to see the colors not really factor into play so far. And I don't think any of the teams have really looked at the towers. Is that something you might consider if you see Chipman really start to make a push?
Well, our plan is if they start getting them in the towers, if we have multiple colors, that might give us an advantage because we might have different colors that have more than 1 point attached to them.
So we can start to see the strategy really come into play. Those towers have not yet been utilized, but anything can happen in the third and final round as we head to our last contest. The Kato Cavaliers with Richard the Giraffe with a 3-2 overall lead over the Chipman Chargers and Clawbot A. Welcome back. It's the Robot Rumble here on Do the Math. It's our very first Robot Rumble. As we head into the final round, the Kato Cavaliers and Richard the Giraffe have a 4-3 total lead over the Chipman Chargers and Clawbot A. Tom, there's a lot of strategy here. You know, this is the first time these teams have really done the televised competition in this format.
Yeah.
And so what are you looking forward to seeing here in this final round?
Well, I'm actually hoping somebody scores in one of the towers.
We haven't really seen that utilized yet.
We haven't seen that done yet, and I'm thinking that they're ready to go. They're ready to try it.
You talk about the Chipman Chargers and their head coach, Dusty Whitman. With the preparations coming in, I don't know if you could ever prepare for being down by 1 point going into the last round.
Right. That's a tough thing to be in. Tough position. Although the nice thing is you only have to score twice to win.
You look over on the other side, Kato Cavaliers, head coach Amanda Jimerson and the rest of that squad, their drivers, Francis and Amy. They're the first ones to be able to stack, and that has been the difference thus far.
Exactly, yeah, and I can expect that they're either going to try to stack again or they're going to go for a cone or a tower.
There's a lot to be in play here. There's a lot of the elements of the game that have yet to be utilized.
Exactly.
Anything can happen here as we head into the final round with the Chipman Chargers trailing by 1 to see who advances to our grand final in March. We are all set to go for round number 3.
Red, you ready? Blue, you ready? Okay, driver control in 3, 2, 1, go.
A minute 45 to determine who advances to the grand final. Chipman early on maybe even trying to back into the goal with a cube. Instead they grab it and look to turn it around. Let's see who can get on the board first. It looks like Chipman is just about there. They'll drop it in. It is square. We are tied at 4 total.
And it looks like Kato's having some issues.
Kato having some issues swinging around. They've got a longer arm. That may be proven to be detrimental at this point because it's managing their control. They're only going forward. They keep going further and further away and may even get trapped with that tower in their arm. Meanwhile, Chipman looking to grab their second cube. Where's it going to come from? Now Kato's free. They've turned it around. They're headed towards their goal. Slammed into the wall. Can they get there? It's driver switch time with 1 minute left to go in the round. They've made a speedway jump for it. They drop it off. It's in. Kato has regained their lead. 5 seconds low until the switch here. Both teams have switched with 46 seconds left to go. Chipman has a cube, but they've got to get back to the goal, or they may try to get to this nearest one here. They're going to go and drop it into whatever's closest. It is not quite in there. There it is with a final strong push. Chipman now with the lead by 1 with 30 seconds left to go. They've got it up there. It drops out. Kato still looking to get one more in there as they now trail. Well, now we might be tied here. I think we are tied. It's 5-5 at this point. Oh no, that one in the corner is not quite in there here. So let's see if they address that with 10 seconds left to go. That may be all the difference. But Kato could seal it if they can get that in. 5 seconds left to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. That will do it. Our officials are going to have to really confer to take a look. The point of contention is this cube in the corner. Is that all the way in? That is the case. So in this round, Chipman pulls up a 2-1 lead, which brings us to a cumulative total of 5-5. Ladies and gentlemen, in our initial Robot Rumble, 3 rounds have concluded, and we have a cumulative tie. So we go now to our tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker, which will be a sudden death 1 minute. Well, a sudden death 1 minute and a half match again.
So we're going to do a 90-second overtime.
Right.
Unprecedented. First time it's happened here at the Robot Rumble. A lot of firsts here today.
Right. We discussed that this might happen, but we didn't expect it on the first round.
So we're going to reset here very quickly, have that round to you in a moment for overtime to see who advances to the grand final. We are here at the AC Electric Arena, and it is overtime for our first ever Robot Rumble competition. After 3 rounds, Kato and Chipman tied at 5 points apiece. We're going to go to one more overtime period. Whoever has the most points at the end of this one will be declared our winner and will advance to our grand final in March.
Correct. Yeah, so, and then, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they pull out this time. Kato was having issues with the robot the last time, so maybe they'll resolve that problem and see what happens.
With that said, what are we waiting for? Ladies and gentlemen, let's make overtime happen.
All right, driver control in 3, 2, 1, go.
Overtime is underway. Coming in, Chipman mentioned a strategy of trying to push all their orange cubes to the side and focus just on that. And it looks like they're going to focus on getting that first cube in. Knocked it in for the go-ahead point. But it's got a wheel stuck. They got it out. That was almost disastrous for Chipman. Kato, meanwhile, was looking for a push strategy to push as many in as possible. They're looking to just grab their first cube here with 1:19 left to go here in overtime. They've got the nuts. Chipman's got their grip. They've got it hovering over the goal. It's in there. They've got a 2-point lead. They've got some room to play with now as we get set for our driver switch. Kato's got their cube in. They're on the board. It's 2-1 Chipman. Clawbot A looking to get their third cube. Looking to take advantage of the space. Backed up. They've got it. They've picked it up. They may try for that tower. Unutilized so far. No, they're going to swing around and try to stack. Falls off the stack here with 46 seconds left to go. Kato looking to grab their second cube. Chipman, it's just about there, but they've got to pick it up and drop it off. 39 seconds left to go here in overtime. And Clawbot A with the Chipman Chargers looking to maintain their lead. 1 left to go. Can Kato get a grip on one more cube? 27 seconds left to go. And Tom, it looks like Chipman has the advantage.
It does, and it looks like they're about ready to stack that third cube, so that'll pretty well seal it for them if they can do it.
They've dropped it there. It's on the ground while Kato's picked theirs up. Lost the grip on it as they try to swing it around with 10 seconds left to go. Can Kato make it to their goal? 8 seconds, 7, 6. Chipman is 5 seconds away from advancing. One last push for Chipman. Can they get it in? Time! With one desperate final push and attempt, Kato comes inches away. But it's the Chipman Chargers and Clawbot A advancing to the finals in March. Congratulations to to both of our teams. Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Robot Rumble contest ends in a dramatic overtime, literally down to the final second.
Yes.
Let's get both of our teams to shake hands and cross over on the handshake line, and let's talk to our victors. Friends and family at the AC Electric Arena catching their breath. Let's talk with second driver Emiliano here. Emiliano, wow. Tell us a little bit about what was going through your head and your heart in those final seconds.
Just nerves. That's pretty much it. That's why I couldn't lift that one up. You know?
I like how even though the robot's in control physically of actually moving the cubes around, you take the nerves onto yourself. Let me ask you this. In those last few seconds, did you have your eyes over on Kato as they made that one last ramp to try to jam that in?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That just pumped the nerves up a lot more.
So as you saw that cube get pushed forward, what was going through your mind?
I was really hoping they would miss, you know, and I was also hoping I could get that one in, but no, in the end, they missed, we won, so.
Anthony, that was you have to give Kato so much credit for that strategy to get that in at the end. As somebody who had to hand the controls over midway through, how helpless did it feel to know that you've done all you could and just hope that Emiliano could hold off the win for you?
I just really had to put those two in, and after that, I was just, my nerves were just
So your
crazy.
goal was
So
just
I
give me
like,
two, give me two, and then get me out of here.
Yeah, and if you would have got another one, that would have been way
That would
better.
have been great, but
That would have.
1 point made all the difference. It's all you need. You head to the grand final in March. You've got 6 months to get ready. Is that too much time or just enough?
just enough, I'd say.
What do those next 6 months look like as far as your work with Clawbot A, or maybe a different direction in the design of your bot?
You know, maybe we'll probably finish our main robot and retire Clawbot A to just a robot there that, wow, this is our first robot for the season and it won.
Sounds like retirement stays for Clawbot A, ladies and gentlemen, but enough to get you into the winners column and to our grand final in March back here at the AC Electric Arena. Let's give it up one more time for the Chipman Chargers and Clawbot A as we wrap it up from the AC Electric Arena.
Right.
Tom,
Very good job, yeah.
very dramatic way to kick things off.
It was very fun. It was. I did not expect the sudden death overtime. That was cool.
Well, how do we follow it up? We'll find out in October when we come back for our next competition.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for the Robot Rumble.